Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Bethanne. Today I wanted to just go through my library book haul, which is very exciting. I have been giving into my shopping addiction with BookTube recommendations by basically just having my public library webpage open every time I'm watching BookTube videos, and so then when somebody recommends something and I really want to read it, I just click place a hold, which satisfies the itch to feel like I've followed through on somebody's recommendation, but without spending money. So that's been great. And then I have lots of things to look forward to. So I finally made it to the library, which is a little annoying because they're only open 2 days a week for a few hours. So I actually waited in line to get into the library, which was kind of cool, just as like normally you wait in line for a popular restaurant or a concert. And here it was just the public library. So that was fun. So I got to go in and pick up all of my holds. So I'm just going to talk briefly about some of these. So there's, oh my God, I can't even count. There are 6 of them. Okay. So one that I'm definitely going to read in December is Christmas at Little Beach Street Bakery. And this is one of actually 2 in this pile that weren't BookTube recommendations, but are things that I selected because of BookTube. So I am doing a December readathon, and I'm totally blanking on the name of the channel, but I will put it in the cards. But it's based around teams that are holiday movie team, holiday music team, and prompts are based on movies or music. You complete the prompts, you get points for your team. It's very fun. So I wanted a book with a red ornament on the cover to fulfill one of the prompts. And I also just wanted kind of a Christmassy romance because everybody's going to be reading them, and it's been a very long time since I read a romance novel. So I browsed for this on the library website. And I think, actually I should say what it's about. So it's actually about a small town bakery owner in a little village, I think in Cornwall, England. So I'm very excited for that setting, and just the idea of a female bakery owner, and whatever adventures and love she finds in the holidays. I think it's just going to be a very cute, heartwarming story. Okay, then the other thing that was not specifically a recommendation for YouTube is The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down. And again, as part of that same readathon, one of the prompts was to read, or no, maybe it wasn't for that readathon. Anyway, oh my gosh, for something. Oh yeah, it was for that readathon. You're supposed to read the 34th book on your TBR, in an allusion to the Miracle on 34th Street movie. So this was the 34th book on my Goodreads TBR, and I ordered it from the library forgetting that I already own it, so that's fun. It's called The Spirit Catches You and You Fall Down, Among Child, Her American Doctors, and the Collision of Two Cultures by Fadiman. I don't know much about this book. I know that it's about a Hmong child who is severely ill, I think with epilepsy, and is part of a refugee family that has settled in California. And so the book is about, I think, the struggle for medical care and kind of the clash between cultures of this refugee family in rural California. So that's basically my understanding of the book so far. It's very timely for me to read it right now because I do live in Minnesota, which has I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Hmong populations outside of Far East Asia, like the Thailand, Laos area, because of refugees coming, and I believe the Lutherans in Minnesota, a bunch of Lutheran churches, kind of spearheaded creating opportunities for Hmong people here in Minnesota. So I see presence of that culture all around the Twin Cities, and so I'm actually really excited that this got brought back up into my attention now while I'm still living in Minnesota, because we'll be moving in about 6 months or so. So this will be one of my few nonfiction books in December, because I'll be focusing more on fiction after nonfiction November. I did pick up another romance for the month of September. This is A Cowboy to Remember by Rebekah Weatherspoon. I think it's part of a series called Cowboys of California, looks like. I don't know anything about this, but as I mentioned with the Christmas romance, it's been a very long time since I read a romance novel, and I'm kind of ready to read a couple. And this one was recommended by booktubers. I believe Kazan of Always Doing recommended this particular book, and Mara over at Books Like Woa has at least been reading this author, and I can't remember if she's mentioned this particular book, but she's mentioned others by this author as being quite good. And so based on both of those recommendations, I decided that if I'm going to dip my toe into romance again a little bit, this might be a good place to start. The cover did not disappoint. I'm okay with the cover. Okay, I picked up a humor book, Do You Mind If I Cancel by Gary Janetti. And this was on the recommendation of Lana at Lana Ex Libris. She included it in her nonfiction November recommendations. I'll link the video in the card wherever that shows up. But it just sounded really great. She said these stories and essays are absolutely hilarious. They're autobiographical from the author Gary Janetti's childhood and 20s. She said he's very opinionated and annoyed by a lot of different things, but makes it funny. Sounds like me, except maybe not the being funny part. So I just think I'll really enjoy this. And he also is a writer for the show Will and Grace, or maybe was for the first iteration of it. I don't know if he's a writer for the current version or the previous version, but I love that show. So I think that I'll enjoy this, and it'll just be a short, light thing that I can breeze through from time to time. Okay, next we have Dancing at the Pity Party, a Dead Mom graphic memoir by Tyler Feder. And this is somebody who lost her mom to late-stage cancer, well, I guess by definition, but kind of a sudden diagnosis in the late stage when the author was in college. And so she's writing this, I think, from a perspective of 10 years have gone by. She's looking back on the past 10 years and talking about her grief process. And it is a graphic novel. And I like the look of the art. Let me see if I can find a better page. Yeah, I like the look of the art. So I heard about this on Jen's page over at Remembered Reads. She said she enjoyed this book, so I wanted to give it a try. And it is timely for me. My dad is actually dealing with late stage cancer. So this will be a bit of a helpful book, I expect. And then finally, and I don't remember which booktuber I heard about this from. It also could have been Jen Remembered Reads, but could have been somebody else. I don't really remember. But we have the puzzle Polynesia Sea People by Christina Thompson. And this just fits in with my kind of general ongoing quest of learning more about ancient history and history that is not focused on Europe and North America, which is what I feel most of my education has focused on. So this, whoever I saw had given it a pretty good review, and it sounded really interesting as a way to learn a little bit more about what really happened in the Pacific, what's the history of that region of the world, and who were these Polynesians that just like pop up throughout history, but from history as I've studied it, they're always on the sidelines. They just kind of pop up and then they go away again. So, so I would love to learn more about those peoples. So that is my book haul, 6 books. So some of these I have definite plans to get to in December. Some of them, like Sea People, I think I probably won't get to until January, like I already mentioned. I'm feeling a little bit tapped out on nonfiction at the moment because I ended up reading a lot of nonfiction in October and November, which is great. But I'd like to keep it to just a couple nonfiction books in December, and I already have some that I want to read for various goals. So thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this library haul. It was very exciting to finally be able to film a haul. I don't do those very often, don't get a lot of books very often, so that was exciting. So if you like what you see here, go ahead and leave me a comment, hit like, subscribe if you've read any of these books and aren't somebody who I mentioned as watching their videos, then please do tell me what you thought. I'd love to connect. All right, thanks. Bye.